Hello, welcome to Tracy Thrives at Home. Today I'm sharing 4 super affordable, beginner-friendly DIYs that help me add some designer-inspired decor to my home without the designer price tag. I found just a few inexpensive items from the Dollar Tree, Walmart, Target, and Amazon, and then with just a few simple craft supplies, turned them into some beautiful decor pieces for my home. A few of these items will live on the new floating shelves that I installed during my recent kitchen makeover, and I created 2 pieces of decor to complement my recently refreshed patio area. I had a lot of fun with these projects and I can't wait to share them with you. Let's jump into it. First up, I'm giving these simple black wall planters a more elevated, textured look using some checkered burlap that I had on hand from a previously discarded project. The tan and black colors of the material go perfectly with the patio decor I have, and I figured I could create a couple of different looks with it. I first eyeballed the burlap to make sure that I had enough material both length and width-wise, and then I cut it to size. Then using my hot glue gun, I began attaching it to the outer surface of the planter using a folding method to give it a pleated look. Once I had the burlap firmly affixed to the planter, I made sure to cut off the extra material as well as any of the frayed pieces. Then I went around and added small amounts of hot glue to any areas that weren't firmly attached. Since I plan to use these wall planters outside, I want to make sure they will hold up to the elements and the material will be protected and stay in place. So I've added a layer of Mod Podge on top as a sealant. I made sure to pay special attention to the edges of the material as well to help prevent any further fraying. For the second planter, I wanted to create a little bit of a different look using the same material. So I rotated the material 45 degrees so that when it was applied, it would look almost like a diamond pattern instead of a square pattern, if that makes sense. So my process here was I cut the burlap into square sizes, rotated it, and then using my hot glue gun and the same folding method to create that pleated look, I applied it to the outside surface. For this planter, I didn't cut away as much of the excess material and instead folded it over and glued it down. I did this to help create a different look from the first planter. As I did with the first planter, I added a layer of Mod Podge to act as a sealant, and I allowed both planters to dry overnight. The following day, I stuffed each planter with a medley of faux eucalyptus sprays and white chrysanthemums that I had picked up. Our next door neighbor has a beautiful flower bush with white flowers that look very much like the faux flowers I picked up, and I love how they complement each other. To hang these planters up, I had picked up this set of command hooks and I used them to put the planters up in my outside entryway. I think they complement my decor nicely, and I'm already thinking of ways to change out the foliage for different seasons and holidays. I had a lot of fun with this project, and I'm already thinking about picking up another set of these planters to upcycle in some way for my second floor balcony. Let me know what you think. The next project is a Dollar Tree makeover and might be my favorite. I have been seeing these sort of antique brass, aged gold figurines all over sites like Magnolia, McGee and Co, Williams-Sonoma, and Birch Lane, and I wanted to create something similar. When I was at the Dollar Tree, I spotted this cute little ceramic mushroom and liked the size and shape of it and figured for only $1.25, I could find something fun to do with it. Turns out this little figurine was perfect for creating my own aged gold piece. The first thing I did was take an 80 grit piece of sandpaper and go all around the figurine to add texture to it. This will help with adherence. Then I created a mixture of clear primer, black acrylic paint, and just the tiniest amount of acrylic antique gold paint, and I applied that as the base layer to the mushroom. After a few hours, once that paint was dry, I added a gold paint layer using a mixture of clear primer and a metallic gold acrylic paint by the brand Arteza that I had on hand. The following day, once that paint was set and dry, I began adding all the little details and finishing touches. I combined ebony and antique gold rub and buff to create a darker shade for the indents on the cap of the mushroom, and then also to paint some small details onto the stem of the mushroom. For the final step, I took this gold leaf rub and buff and used a paper towel to add a soft gold accent to some of the surfaces of the mushroom. I love this little tiny mushroom so much. I think it looks like something I'd see at Anthropologie. Definitely not something I found for under $2. Moving on to the next project. I got this ornate vintage-inspired frame on Amazon for just $10. The details and textures of the frame were gorgeous, but the brown and fake gold colors, not so much. So to begin this transformation, I first sanded the frame just a bit, and then I created a base layer of paint using black acrylic paint, clear primer, and the smallest touch of antique gold acrylic paint. This frame has lots of little details, so I am just carefully applying the base layer, making sure to get into every crack and crevice with the paint, while also making sure it's applied thin enough to not disrupt the details and to dry evenly. Several hours later, after the paint had dried, I went in and applied a second coat of the same paint mixture, and then I allowed it to sit for 24 hours to make sure it was set and dry. The following day, using a combination of ebony rub and buff and antique gold rub and buff and a Q-tip, I carefully applied and rubbed small amounts of the mixture to the little details on the frame. This creates a subtle golden metallic highlight, and I love the way it turned out. Now this frame looks like a high-end antique store find instead of something I found on Amazon. Now I'm just adding black matting to the frame and a small painting that I had done. I think it will look really great on the floating shelves that I just installed in my kitchen. For the fourth and final DIY in this video, I used 2 tapered candle holders that I had picked up at the Dollar Tree. Again, just $1.25 each. I wanted to create an aged dirty bronze look to these candle holders, something different to the mushroom decor piece I had created and also from the frame. So I first started by applying a couple of really light coats of this metallic gold spray paint by Rust-Oleum. I chose to prime with this spray paint because I'm not exactly sure what finish these candle holders were to begin with, and this stuff adheres to most surfaces and dries fairly quickly. The following day I applied the second coat of paint and I was aiming for a bronze coppery color. I had combined my clear primer, the smallest amount of black acrylic paint, and a metallic finish acrylic paint by the brand Arteza in the color copper that I had on hand. And for the finishing touches, I took the sponge applicator, cut it up a little to roughen up the surface of the sponge, and used the same metallic bronze and black acrylic paint mixture, but with a lot more black, to add that dirty, aged look to the surface. I'm so pleased with how these turned out. The texture and color really make them look like vintage metal pieces you'd find in a curated shop, and I will be adding them to the shelves in my kitchen for sure. Knowing that I was creating some new decor for my kitchen, I had also picked up this green kitchen hand towel and this copper salt and pepper grinder from Target for some additional decor pieces. I think the mushroom figurine frame and candle holders all complement each other and the other decor I have really nicely, and I love how everything is looking in here. And with that wraps up today's DIYs. I hope this video gave you a few ideas for how to elevate affordable home decor into something unique and personal. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe. I've got more DIY videos planned, as well as an upcoming dining room makeover. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!